Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Kickin' Bass TV. Today's video, we're gonna be making some baits with the new Deadshift powder pigments from Dead on Plastix. Then we're gonna take them out, see if we can catch some bass on them. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. Let's go. All right, guys, today we're gonna be making a bunch of different baits up with, of course, Dead on Plastix Craw tube and swim bait floating formula. Got about a cup and a half on each side to start off here, and very excited to try out the new Deadshift powder pigments from Dead on Plastix. These are Colorshift powder pigments. This one's called Atmosphere. It's got a nice gold, green to blue shift. First thing I want to do before we play around with any liquid colorant is see what these look like in a clear plastic. So I'm starting off with about a half a teaspoon in this cup on the left. Make sure I get that powder pigment stirred up really good. And then hopefully what we'll achieve with this first color is sort of a natural oily fish scale kind of sheen, which it is definitely already starting to look like. Next, we're gonna start by making one of the most fundamental colors in the game with a watermelon flake. Take about 8 or 9 drops of watermelon to this cup on the right, add some black flake for texture. Once we've got the color where we want it on that, we'll add about a 1/4 teaspoon of that Atmosphere Deadshift. Make sure we get that stirred in real good. And then already, like I said, this is a deadly color for summer bass fishing as it is. Now you've got the added element of that Colorshift that's gonna throw a ton of flash in the natural light. First up, I'm gonna be shooting that clear plastic with that Atmosphere Deadshift pigment. Gonna be making some 7.5-inch ribbon tail worms, some of our Chub Grubs, as well as some of our kick and craws. The ribbon tail worms came out looking great. Really achieved that kind of glossy fish scale sheen to it. Hard to do it justice on camera, but in the natural light outdoors, it's gonna throw a ton of flash. These things look amazing. After that, got our Chub Grub, which is great on a Ned rig when you're targeting smallmouth. This color is gonna be killer in a clear water fishery or anywhere where you've got a shad population. Then we've got our kick and craw, which is one of my favorite baits to throw year round. And I guarantee you we're gonna catch some fish on these clear color shifts because these look awesome. After that, we're gonna shoot our Colorshift watermelon flake, this time in the kick and craw, 7.5-inch ribbon tail, and the 5-inch kick and stick. We're also gonna be hand pouring a couple of our Ginger Ninjas. This is a super popular bait in the summertime for punching. Got that heavy vegetation, these are killer. Our 5-inch kick and stick looks great in this color. Definitely gonna catch a ton of suspended summer bass on this with the wacky rig. And I really like the way that the craws came out as well. You've got a thicker body cavity, meaning a little darker color, a little more depth of range for that Colorshift to play. These should absolutely produce. And the 7.5-inch ribbon tail worms came out super clear, super bright. Been catching a ton of summer bass on these, throwing them weightless. And one thing about this, you almost couldn't see the Colorshift pigment in these worms until you got them in the natural light. But with the Ginger Ninja here, you can definitely see the properties of those pigments. Another reason I've been wanting to try the Colorshift pigments is because after every order, I tend to have at least a little bit of scrap plastic left over. And while some of these colors, if they're light and transparent enough, can be combined to make a cool color on their own, a lot of them are best just turned into a dark black and used for worms. So what we did was we took a couple of pucks of scrap black, some purple, some blue, a little bit of chartreuse, as you can see, melted those all down. And by adding just a half a teaspoon of that Atmosphere Colorshift pigment, we're able to turn that plain black into a really interesting color. So now instead of being limited to just a dark brown or black for our remelt scraps, we can get a whole lot more creative because of the Colorshift pigments from Dead on Plastix. As you can see, this one definitely brought this color to life right here. Instead of a plain black, we now get a whole range of colors. Depending on the light you're in, you'll see black, green, blue, bronze, even copper. And because a little bit goes a long way, in a dark color like this, because of the amount of gold pigment, as you can see in the tips of the Ginger Ninja here, it gives it almost a pewter appearance as well. We ended up making 5 different Colorshift baits today, 2 of which were made using remelt plastics. The other ones were our clear Colorshift, our Colorshift watermelon flake that you see here, and then off camera, we made a 5th color, which was our mint brown Colorshift. All it was left to do now was to try them out.
clear Craw, Colorshift, left anchor. Very first cast. Slick shot. Got that on that mint brown Craw. On the clear Colorshift Craw.
So as you can see, they definitely work. We ended up with 8 bass today on the Colorshift baits, 2 on the clear, 2 on the watermelon, and 4 on the mint brown. If you guys are interested in getting your hands on some of these new baits and supporting the channel at the same time, click the link in the video description down below. That'll take you to our Instagram page where I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, and you can place an order for your own custom baits. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because that's the best way to show your support, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So let me know which one of the baits we made today was your favorite in the comment section down below. Until next time, I'm D with Kickin' Bass TV.
Subscribe!